So Rachel Wallins, founder of Accelerate Talent Management.
Terrific. Rachel, first question. Where in your life has fear limited your opportunities?
I would say in almost every aspect of my life. I would say personally, I got married very late because I had a fear of commitment, which I didn't know I had. And so I would pick men that were not viable partners. I would go for the lions and not the golden retrievers. And I think it was because I truly thought that I was not meant for long-term relationships and that I was too much for people. So I was fearful of that. I think professionally, when it comes to change, I can be very agile, but when it came to making the change to start my own business, while I plowed in with both feet, I had a lot of fear about what I didn't know. How do you bill? How do you invoice? How do you track time? How do you get clients? And all of that, I would be so fearful that I would never figure it out, or that I would fail, or that I would, mostly that I would chicken out. I had a fear of fear, that I would chicken out and be like, this is too hard. I'm just going to go back to what I know. So while I did a lot of unknown things, I moved to New York City by myself when I was 30. I had one friend and two cousins here, and that was it. And I can do things that are very brave, but starting this business was mired in fear, and comparing myself to others and focusing on what I don't know. And only in retrospect can I look and realize that A, nobody knows what they're doing when they start out. And B, I've been successful even with the fear and the mistakes.
Great answer. And I can totally relate to it.
Yeah.
My second question for you is, what is the greatest contributor to your success?
I think it's persistence. While I've moved jobs a lot, so I wouldn't say I've been persistent at like sucking it up and dealing with toxic people. I would say persistence and resiliency. I get knocked down and I take a day and I whine or have a fit, and then I come back. And when I was in grade school, junior high, and high school, I played the cello, and I wanted to play it professionally. And I had a conductor, Marcia Folks, and God rest her soul, she died. But she was super tough. She would throw stands at people and she would yell, but she was also like a mentor and a complete support and a musical genius. And she taught me how to be resilient, and that you could get yelled at one day and come back the next day. So I would say resiliency has been, and persistence has been, my biggest success factor, because as I make mistakes in this business, or as I make mistakes in my personal life, I don't have a lot of regret because I just keep going. And I do look back and say, well, that was a huge mistake, but I don't go back and say that was a huge mistake and I'm going to vilify myself. It's more like, that was a huge mistake. What did I learn?
Yeah.
So it's more of a growth mindset, I guess.
Yeah, very much so. And so the third question is, what would have to happen in the workplace or with your clients to feel like you've left a lasting legacy?
I would want to feel like the insights my clients had, or the knowledge they gained, whether it's in a training class or coaching, changed them for the better. And so they hearkened back, and maybe they don't ever remember my name or whatever, anything about me, but they might say, I had a coach once, or I went to a class once and it taught me this, because I've felt that way. I've had people in my life that have made a lasting difference. I know their names, and they taught me something, or they drove me somewhere, or they motivated me, or they did something that made me better. And I want my clients to feel that they are better. And whether they care that it was me or not, I don't care. I want them to walk away and say, 5 years from now, I had a coach once and she taught me X. Or maybe they'll say he, because I can't remember who I am. But I want to make people's lives, work lives, better, and maybe their personal lives too.
Yeah, I think one thing tends to
yeah
of the other. You can't really separate the too. So number 4 question for you is, what's your vision for yourself and your career in the next 3 years?
That's such a good question because I'm not very good at prognosticating where I'm going to be. I'm very in the moment. My husband would say he wants me to grow my business. I would say I'm okay where it's at. I don't want to strive and lose sight of the progress. I want to always be in the moment saying, look how much I've done versus, oh, I have so much to do. So if I can keep going and keep broadening my impact and meet new people, I don't want to have the same clients over and over again, though I'll take that money. But if I can keep broadening my experience through multiple industries and multiple companies and multiple people, and my network keeps growing, that would be enough.
That's great. And my last question for you is, what is your fearless factor?
Ever since my brain tumor, there's really nothing worse than that. Well, there is things worse than that, but I hope I never experience them. So I am fearless because I have realized how short life is. And I have realized that at any moment, it could be taken from you. And I'm lucky in that I have a treatable tumor and I'm in great care, but that knowledge takes the pressure off of any day-to-day mishigas that exists and makes me feel like it's okay. Like I lost a huge client last week. Thank God through no fault of my own, but the person that hired me is now out of favor and she's going to get fired. And so her CEO canceled all her consultants' contracts, right? I don't even think I cared. I was like, that sucks. I could have used that money. But in the general scheme of things, it's not as bad as a brain tumor. And I hate to say that, but that changed my life. That made me realize that like everything is there to be enjoyed, even if it sucks. Yeah. And on my head, I'm like, that's okay. That client was hard to deal with, or that company was hard to deal with, or I don't need the politics, whatever, versus kicking myself.
Yeah. So if you were to say in one word, your fearless factor would be gratitude. Because I'm hearing a lot of gratitude in there. I mean, your brain tumor taught you a great deal about letting go and, letting God basically. So I hear a lot of gratitude in that and there.
There is, but I would say perspective.
Yeah.
Because perspective leads to gratitude. And I talk to so many people who have just lost perspective.
Yes.
And my job, I feel like, is to give them some back, not to diminish their problems or to make them feel as though it's not important, but rather to help them pull themselves out of fear.
Yeah.
And look around. And I always say to them, what's the worst thing that could happen?
Yes.
Absolute worst thing that could happen. And we talk about it and they pull the monster out and then they look at it and they're like, I would live.
Yes.
I would live.
Very, very few things are life-threatening. I mean, yes, a brain tumor can definitely be life-threatening. I do have a friend who suffered one, and it was the end of days. But she didn't.
They had glio. They had glioblastoma.
I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it was severe enough for her to have tried everything. But this was maybe, I don't know, 12 years ago, 15 years ago. And so, yeah, sadly, that was that. But to your point, most things are not life-threatening. Most things you'll get over it one way or another.
And more quickly than you think you can, because it's not that bad.
That's right. That's right.